Right, we are playing Everton on Wednesday. So let's talk about two things. One, we've got JB instead of Amy today because she had one of those parties that ended up on Facebook. Millions of people turned up, trashed her house. Should be in the Daily Mail in a couple of days probably. And two, I'm wearing a fake shirt. Do you like it? You can get it from Score Draw. Sort of as good as the original, but no money goes to the Glazers. Goes to somebody else. Now, Everton, boys, let's talk about form. We're drawing all the time. We're not actually winning games. Is this a problem or is it good that we're not losing? JB, give us some opinion. Yep.
Me. I think it's one of those things like people have to remember that taking over from Sir Alex Ferguson under these circumstances is a pretty tough job. You've got to be realistic about it. I think there was disappointment against Cardiff, and that was kind of like that just completely got dispelled midweek when we destroyed Bayer Leverkusen in Germany 5-0. And we were kind of thinking, here we go. Here's the momentum picking up. And like Adam was saying in his review, there are some really good signs. I think we are going to just pick up and really kick on in the future. But today, I don't know. I think in isolation, it's a decent result. It's just off the back of Cardiff, we now look like our league form is stagnating again after it was looking encouraging. And in the latter third of the game, when once we got the equaliser from Rudy's penalty, we didn't really look like we could kill the game off, even if we wanted to. So that was a little bit discouraging. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Adam?
I thought it was as you said, good result on its own. But looking at the picture from last week as well, and given our form midweek, would have liked to have got the win. I thought we had our opportunities to get the win as well. Yeah. Same things, just annoying me. The wing play again has gone from Wednesday when it was excellent. Today it was crap again. I think Valencia completed 1 of 11 crosses to a United player. The central midfield area again not good enough, and that's where we lost it. Dembele, Sandro, and Paulinho bossed it, and well, we never lost, but that's where they ultimately got the better of us, and that's why we didn't win. So on its own, good result. I still think we're in a good position to, if we can go on a run now, to take a challenge towards the top team.
I would say all season, Adam, we've been in a good position if we can go on a run and win some games. But now a lot of games are going past and we're still not winning them.
People forget we haven't lost in Europe. Yeah, it's all good saying, we're drawing games. We've drew a few games recently, but we're getting an unbeaten run. He's getting us playing how he wants to play. If you've seen today, at times today, and in the last game midweek, we've been playing a lot better football, and it's showing signs of him getting us the way he wants us to play. Obviously, the errors that were there at the beginning of the season, they're not just going to go away overnight. We've still got to look at our central midfield, still got to look at our left back, still got to look at our wingers. So those problems aren't going to go away overnight. I think if we can hang in there, stay within, between 3 to 6, 7 points by January and get a few players in, I'll be quite confident. I'll say it again, Arsenal aren't going to win the league. So why 9 points off Arsenal, fair enough. They'll drop points. Chelsea and City are the teams that we need to stay around.
Okay,
so
fair enough. Now, let's talk Everton. Right. David Moyes reunites with his former club. What is that going to affect his mindset to this game?
I don't know. I think in the pure David Moyes true style, I think he's going to go conservative just because it's just something he doesn't want to lose that much. They've got quite a creative side of them. They've got Kevin Moraes, Osman's doing all right. Who's the guy from Barcelona? Dioufeu? I can't say his name. The young
Dioufeu.
He scored, yes, he scored at the weekend. And they've got Gareth Barry's in the form of his life, who knew he was actually a player. Certainly didn't look at it City. But they've got, and there's Lukaku up front as well, who's can be an absolute beast, in no certain terms. And we are looking a bit shaky down the spine. Although I thought Vidic was very good. It's somebody's really good key tackles today. But it's just the partnerships keep changing in the centre of midfield and centre of defence. And Moyes doesn't seem to know what his number one partnership is. I think he likes Vidic, but the guy isn't always fit, and sometimes it can be very, very vulnerable to pace being run at. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel that confident just purely because I think Moyes is going to be so fearful of losing.
Don't hurt yourself, JB. Adam, if anybody knows how to beat Everton, it's surely David Moyes. Right.
No. Not well, yes, but not now because they're a completely different team to what they were last year. I think if we're looking at an opposition, they're more like Southampton to what we faced at home, where they keep the ball, they pass it around, and they try and break that way. So I think we started with Fellaini and Cleverley against Southampton, and Fellaini had one of his poorer days. It was Fellaini and Carrick, and they were too square. So I'd like to see Fellaini again against his old club. I think he could have a decent game and possibly boss it against some of his old teammates. But I'd like to see Giggs getting played in there so
Adam,
we can
tell
keep
us who you
the
would
ball.
play. What's your starting lineup?
I've gone with David De Gea in goal, of course. Rafael Vidic, Evans, and Evra. Fellaini and Giggs as the two central midfielders. Nani and Kagawa wide. Rooney off Robin van Persie. Valencia's annoying me now. Like Wednesday, he was pretty good. Today he showed signs of getting back to his old self, but can't cross his legs, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying. I say it again: 1 out of 11 crosses found a United man. He's a winger.
All right. So what do we do with Valencia? Do you think we persevere? Do we keep him, or do we ship him out? Is it time to go?
Well, you can't say it's time to go because he's shown that he can do it, but I think he needs to kick up the arse, stick him on the bench for a few weeks like we do with Nani, like we do with the other players. Why can't we do it to Valencia? Obviously, he gives us some good defensive attributes, but he's a winger. We need him for his wing play, and he's not been good enough.
Okay, JB, what do you think of that team? Would you do anything different? Maybe you wouldn't play Rafael because Smalling has played week after week. Is he the man to put a right back? It's a contentious issue.
I certainly think if Raphael's fit, definitely play the guy. I think I'd go for like Raphael right back, Everett at the left, central defensive pairing, Vidic and Evans, and I think in midfield I've got for Jones and Giggs, which works well.
Jones is suspended, JB.
Of course he is.
That's why I never
feel about that. Right, well, it's Fellaini and Giggs then for me in the centre, a bit like myself, and then I'm fed up with Valencia, so I'm not having him. And
yes.
I'm going to have Yanasai right, and Kagawa wide left, and then Rooney and RBP up front.
Nobody
Rooney the whole.
Nobody wants to play cleverly.
It's like what I've said a lot on this show. He's a bit of a water carrier, and he showed today he's got some really good touches to keep it away from snapping opposition tackles, and then he goes and plays what is too much of a wieldy of a pass for his ability. I mean, he's neat and tidy, and he can produce really good crosses from the right flank. But I just don't know. I don't think he's technically that great at passing as he'd like to think he was. Like we'd all like it to be.
So let's talk about the opposition. How are we going to beat Everton, and who are their danger men? Adam McLemore, go.
McLemore. We've seen that De La Feu lad, or whatever his name is, the Barcelona youngster. He played very well on the weekend. Reminded me of Januzaj, who was running at players and beating them. He played very well. He's there, Januzaj, compared to as we've got ours. I believe the better as a team. Obviously, down the flanks, they've got Leighton Baines, who's always a threat, and something that we need down our flanks. And they've got a very strong team. Jelavic will prove a threat as well. Morales. I think it's important. I don't think there's one player we need to stop them playing. I think we've got to press them very high up the pitch, be quick on the ball, and try and get some interceptions in there because once they get into their rhythm, they can play very well.
JB, thoughts? How do we beat them?
How do we beat them? I think we need Giggs to have the kind of the match that he did in Leverkusen in midweek and ping those balls over the top for the likes of Rooney to run up to. I think I think it's going to be quite a tight tactical game. So I can see Chicharito playing a big part here against the tight legs of Jagielka and Distan. Distan's a man reborn this last couple of years, but Jagielka is really flat-footed, and I think with Chicha's quick thinking and feet, I think he could punish him in the last 10.
I think Chicharito, you can see why David Moyes doesn't start him. He can't. He hasn't. His second touch is a tackle. His first touch is shocking.
Yeah.
He doesn't provide anything to the team apart from when he scores, and he hasn't been doing that this season. Fair enough, he hasn't started a lot of games, but he needs to provide more to the team with his back to goal. I'm not saying he needs to be a big musty.
Sounds like you're saying you hate him and you want him to leave the club with immediate effect.
No, not at all. I love Hernandez, but I can see why he doesn't start games for us. His attributes are more of an impact substitute.
Yeah.
And
although
if we're being honest, he needs to.
I'm going to argue for the sake of it. Statistically, he does better when he starts. He gets more goals from starting than he does from coming off the bench. His goals to not the goals to game, but the goals to minutes and whether or not he starts or comes off the bench. He is much better as a starter. He rarely scores coming off the bench. I know he has done it, but in comparison, he's quite poor coming off the bench.
That is true, but he's a very, very limited player, so he can't really. I mean, what he does offer you is world class. I mean, in terms of that, just like that standing on the line of the offside on the shoulder and like sprinting in space and using the quick feet. It's unbelievable when he does what he does sometimes, and that's why he's so popular. That's why proponents of his want him to play. But yeah, I just think it's like Adam was arguing with. Like for the overall game, he just loses possession far too often in the final third when it's not in that final 10 minutes when the pressure's really on and people are trying to ping balls into the box, and he's on the end of them, which is great. But I think we could lose him if he insists on playing first team football from the start.
You've been critical of Hernandez and Valencia earlier, maybe Cleverly a little bit earlier. Certainly we're always critical of Young because he is woeful. Why is it? Is it that these players suddenly are worse than they were last season, or is David Moyes' approach to the team making them less able to perform?
Well, our wingers didn't perform last season, so nothing's changed there. I think David Moyes is finally I think we look quite strong from the back. I mean, their second goal today was a worldie. You're not going to stop that. And we're looking a bit stronger, and he's looking like he's getting us to play the football he wants us to play. Fair enough, it's in dribs and drabs as it was today. We played all game midweek with that football, and we have done at times. I think we just need to get a settled 11 now. It hasn't helped with Carrick getting injured, Van Persie getting injured, Vidic getting injured, Raphael. It hasn't helped. It's not an excuse, but we've got a good squad, but it hasn't helped. We need to get a consistent team now, so we can see how David Moyes actually wants us to play.
Do you think the same, JB?
I completely agree with Adam, really. We had no wingers last term. I think the goals to games ratio that we got out of them was absolutely abysmal. The only midfield we had was Carrick. He was carrying it. Rooney sat back. As we know, he doesn't want to play there, so he's not there anymore this season. But he has been galvanised under Moyes, so you can't say that about Moyes. RVP, I think, has had a drop of form because of injuries and fitness issues, so I don't think that's anything to do with him. Other guys like Rio and Vidic are looking a bit more vulnerable now, although Vidic was a beast again at times this season and certainly today. I think they're getting older. This is a team in transition, and that's what it's about.
That's an awesome answer. Thanks so much. Now, predictions. JB, Everton, money where your mouth is. I don't even know what that means.
Right, 2-1 to us. 2-1 United.
Macintosh?
3-1 United.
3-1 United. Nice, bold. I will say 1-0. Because I'm never right. Maybe I won't be this time. But try and stop me. I'm saying 1-0. Do all that, what you will. Thank you very much, JB and Macadamia Nut.
Cheers, guys.
Hey guys, that was the Everton preview, but let us know what you thought. Leave a comment, join the debate. Would you start that team? Would you start this team? One of these teams. Let us know which one. Give us some thought. We like that. And also, it'd be really nice if you give us a little like, and I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, subscribe. Like that.